They say from, it's going, yeah. They say that Rabbi Victor Miller, when he started out in his shul, so he hung up a sign outside with a list of shiurim, and he had shiurim going all day, and he had a list: 10 o'clock Lissos Yisharim, 11 o'clock Shari Tshuva, 12 o'clock Gemara Be'in, 1 o'clock Daf Yomi. He had shiurim going the whole day, and somebody just told me recently, I don't remember who, whose father was close to Rabbi Miller, who said that her father came to the shul and walked in, and Rabbi Miller was sitting in the shul giving share to no one. So on the way out, he asked him, Rabbi, just curious, what are you doing? So he said, what do you mean? Didn't you see the sign outside? I'm giving share. So you can say share to no one also. At least I don't know it. That's right. That's right. Okay, so
Does it pay for us to look inside? Like we go like
we'll see how it goes, but not tonight. Not tonight, because tonight is really a hakdama to Sefer Tehillim. And I think it's very worthwhile to have a hakdama, a preface to Sefer Tehillim, because before we can embark on really studying Sefer Tehillim and trying to dig out the lessons that we can from Sefer Tehillim, we have to understand what Sefer Tehillim is, and we have to have a better understanding of David HaMelech. We have to have an understanding of who David HaMelech was, and why it was he who wrote Sefer Tehillim, and what the goal and the purpose of Sefer Tehillim is. It's interesting that if we look at our davening, so much of our davening is from Sefer Tehillim. Tremendous amount of our davening is from Sefer Tehillim. And it's not accidental that so much of our davening is from Sefer Tehillim. When the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah put together the brachas of Pesukei de Zimra, and they wrote the nusach, the text for the bracha of Baruch She'amar, in Baruch She'amar we make mention of Sefer Tehillim. Uvishirei David Avdecha. Uvishirei David Avdecha, Nahalelecha, Nishaberechacha, Neferecha, V'namlichecha, V'naskir Shimcha, Malkeinu, Elokeinu. So in the bracha that we make on davening and on saying Pesukei de Zimra, we specifically make mention of the fact that the shirais v'sishpachais that we're going to be saying during Pesukei de Zimra are from Sefer Tehillim. So Sefer Tehillim has a very, very special place, not only in the fact that it's you see that it's beloved to Klal Yisrael, but also in the fact that you see that it was installed in our davening. That's our daily davening. When we go out of our daily davening, on Rosh Chodesh, right? On Rosh Chodesh we say, again, Uvishirei David Avdecha Hanishma'im Be'irecha. When we brought Karbanos, the Levim sang from Sefer Tehillim. So everything we have a lot of focus on Sefer Tehillim.
I noticed that, like I've had to do Tehillim for these Tehillim groups. I'm like, oh, so that comes from here,
Yeah.
Like all these
Yeah.
things
When you find yourself saying Sefer Tehillim, and suddenly you realize, that's from Tehillim.
If I'm going to pick a day to do for someone, I always pick Kafeh. And why is that? It's Howell. And Howell is my favorite part of
Right? Howell, Tehillim. So much is Tehillim. So we have to understand what exactly the cheshivas of Tehillim is. What is it that's so special about Tehillim? And then we have to understand why David HaMelech. Why David HaMelech? And David HaMelech also, besides the fact that he's the author of Tehillim, if you think about it, when we speak about the luminaries of our history, right? Let's say we go into the Sukkah, we talk about the Yushpizin, right? So you have Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Shvatim, Yosef, the Ovis, and then a Shevet. Moshe, Aaron, right? And David HaMelech is on that list also. David HaMelech is also the progenitor of the Malchus of Klal Yisrael, right? The progenitor of Mashiach. So what is it, everything okay? What is it about David HaMelech, and what is it about Sefer Tehillim, and why is it that David HaMelech had to be the mechaber of Tehillim? The pasuk calls David HaMelech the Ne'im Zmirais Yisrael, the pleasant one who composed the Zmirais of Klal Yisrael. That's David HaMelech's title, Ne'im Zmir Melech and Ne'im Zmirais Yisrael. It's interesting that the Rambam in Hilchos Malachim, the Rambam says, Liboy, the heart of the Melech, who leiv kol kahal Yisrael. His heart, the heart of the Melech, is the heart of the entire nation. And that comes together with certain halachas. When the Rambam writes about the halachas of the Malchus, so he writes, it's psukim, he writes that the Melech he can't be marbe zav v'chesef. He can't make himself rich. Now we think of a Melech, we think about wealth. And the Melech had to be wealthy. We know the Kohen Gadol had to be richer than all the other Kehanim. It's brought down that when they would appoint the Kohen Gadol, they would have to give him matanos. If the Kohen Gadol was not by himself wealthier than the rest of the Kehanim, they had to enrich him. Why? One of the reasons is because the Kohen the Kohen Gadol had to be elevated in all ways over the rest of the Kehanim. So one of the elevations was wealth. A Melech had to be physically taller. Oh, so you want to know what's the cheshivas of wealth? So we have to understand. So the Melech, while the Melech had wealth, the Rambam says very, very carefully that all of the wealth that the Melech took in had to be ba'otzreis beis Hashem, and it had to be there not for his personal use, it had to be there for the Ummah. It had to be there to fight his wars, to fix his streets, to fill the potholes. It had to be there not for him, but he had to have the trappings of wealth.
It seems like it's answering to that it's in the nature of people to look up to wealthy people, or to look up to wealth.
Okay, so, I mean, that is fact.
Yeah.
Now it's... Right, so there's a confusion that could come in there. Why are we looking up to wealth? But if wealth is used properly, then wealth is worthy of being looked up to. The problem is that we're not very used to wealth being used properly. We're used to wealth being used improperly. But that's why it says by the Melech, it says, Lefikach, Davkai Akasav B'Torah, the pasuk attaches the Melech to Torah, Yoser Mishar Ha'am, more than anybody else, because it says by the Melech, Kol Yemei Chayav. All the days of his life, he has to be Davak to Torah. So the Melech has to be completely attached to Torah, because the lave of the Melech is the lave of the Ummah. And the lave of the Ummah has to be a Torah lave. So again, David HaMelech, in his role as Melech, he was uniquely suited to be the Ne'im Zmiris Yisrael. Because again, his heart has to be the whole nation's heart. So he's the Ne'im Zmiris Yisrael. But I think...
What did this piece about wealth have to do with the king? Did he have to be wealthier?
No, the king, I just said, the Rambam says that the king can't be Marbezav or Kesef. He has to be Marbezav or Kesef. Right. The Melech does have to have the trappings of wealth. But he personally can't just take in wealth and live life on the high. The wealth that he takes in has to be for the purpose of the nation. So I think the first place to start is first to understand Tehillim, to understand the concept of Shira, and to understand what Shira is. And we touched upon this recently in the Chumash Shirim, but I think we should repeat it, and we should expand upon it. What exactly is Shira? So Rav Gedalia Shor, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, has a beautiful piece in his Sefer Ar Gedalyo in Parshas Beshalach by Oz Yoshir. And he speaks about the concept of Shira. The concept of Shira, when we sing, what do we do when we sing? Right? We sing a song, we take ideas, we take concepts, we put them into verse, into, let's say, rhyme. We put it to a tune, and we sing it. If we would just say it, if we wouldn't choose the words carefully and make a song out of it, if we wouldn't put it to a tune, and we would just say it, it wouldn't capture the heart of other people. No one's coming to hear a soliloquy. They'll come to hear a concert. You write a beautiful song and you sing it to them, they listen, they hear the words, it moves them.
It's the soul gets
Yeah.
into it.
Song is a way of taking ideas and taking concepts and giving them out to the masses in a pleasing way, in a way that penetrates the heart. The role of Shira, the idea of Shira, says Rav Gedalia Shur, is to bring out the Kvod Shamayim in the entire Bria. That's the concept of Shira. The concept of Shira is to take the Kvod Shamayim, which might be hidden, and to go put it to song when we reveal the Kvod Shamayim. That's Shira. So, for example, I'll give you a case in point. Okay? We had an interesting story that just took place in Bayeshiva. And the story, I want to show you how the story could be said two ways. Right? So I'll tell you like this. Happens to be that the yeshiva's driveway and parking lot were falling apart. Right? It had last been paved 25 years ago, very bad shape, potholes all over the place. You want to hear an unbelievable coincidence? You can't make this stuff up. You know what happened? The city came, and the city was paving a road right around the highway from Yeshiva. They were paving a road. And the trucks came from the city, and they brought in 2 truckloads of blacktop, of asphalt, and they came to lay it, and they brought all the machinery, they brought the pavers and the steamrollers and everything else. And lo and behold, when they come to do the paving work, they find that there's another crew from the Department of Public Works digging up the street and replacing a sewer line. So
That's New York.
yeah, we showed up to go pave and put down blacktop, and these guys are here replacing a sewer line. So now we have 2 truckloads of blacktop and nothing to do with it. So, nothing to do with it. They called up and they said, is there another street that we could put it down on? No, there's nothing around in the neighborhood slating for paving. It happens to be that 2 blocks away, there's an awful block that's full of paving, whatever. But no, there's nothing else that's slated for paving. Okay, we'll bring it back to the station. Nope, can't bring it back to the station because the station can't. They're still distributing. They can't take it in. By the time we get back and they're ready to take it in, it's going to be closed down, and it can't go back. What do we do with it? The guy drove around. He says, there's this school here that desperately needs paving. Okay, they got permission, and they went ahead and they gave it to the yeshiva, and they did the paving work for pennies, literally for pennies. They did the paving work. What an unbelievable story! Wow, isn't that great? Wow, so lucky. If you tell over the story that way, so it's one of those nice things that happen. Like, boy, lucky, right place, right time. I said over the story today to a lady who's an executive director of a yeshiva. And I told her, I said, you want to see the siyata d'shmaya that yeshivas have, I'll show you the siyata d'shmaya. For months, the yeshiva is trying to figure out how they can, not months, for over a year now, the yeshiva is racking their brains trying to figure out how they're going to get the yeshiva paved. Maybe this one will pay for it. Maybe this organization will give a grant. Maybe this parent, maybe this person who lives in Willowbrook will pay for it. Maybe this contractor will do it cheap. Maybe they have a deal with Verizon because they have antennas on top of the building. Maybe Verizon, they owe us money. Maybe Verizon will do part of it. Nothing's working. Nothing's working. When the Ribbono Shel Olam decided that it was time for the yeshiva to be repaved, the Ribbono Shel Olam sent the blacktop, sent the workers, sent the steamrollers, sent the pavers, and said, here, pave. So I told her, it's not your job. It's not your yeshiva to run. It's the Ribbono Shel Olam's yeshiva. I know that Reb Steinman, Reb Steinman once told a Gvir. A Gvir told him, he said, I'm having trouble with money, my businesses aren't going, I need Rachmanis. I'm not asking for me. I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for Klal Yisrael. I'm I'm not asking for me. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about Klal Yisrael. I always shtitzed this yeshiva, and I always shtitzed that yeshiva, and I always gave this Meissen money, and I always gave that Meissen money, and now I don't have the money. What are the Meissens going to do? So you know what Rosh Diamond told him? Oh, you're coming for Klal Yisrael? Klal Yisrael can't help you. If you're coming for you, all right, you're coming for you, you have a tzarech, you need me to mispal for you, okay, maybe I can help you, I'll give you a brach, I'll be mispal for you. You're coming for Klal Yisrael, Klal Yisrael doesn't have a problem. The Rosh Hashanah doesn't need you to take care of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael? The Rosh Hashanah will take care of Klal Yisrael. So don't come to me that you're worried about Klal Yisrael. You don't need to worry about Klal Yisrael. The Rosh Hashanah will take care of Klal Yisrael. I thought you're coming for you. You're coming for Klal Yisrael. No, nothing to talk about. So I said, you're running yeshiva. Look, you're worried about paving? When the Rebbe Hashem wants it paved, he's going to shake pavement. Look what he did here. That's Shira. Because what you did over there was, you took a story that a lot of people could look at, and they could walk away and not see for a minute the Yad Hashem. You're Megala the Yad Hashem. You point out to somebody, look at this. Look at this. You have a yeshiva that desperately needed paving. The Rebbe Shalom sends the city of New York with 2 truckloads of asphalt to go pave the yeshiva. You had no dream where it was going to come from. You had no anything. That's Shira. There's a fascinating Chazal. Chazal say, L'chu neranan al Hashem. The capital in Tehillim, we say it on Shabbos, Kabbalah Shabbos. L'chu neranan al Hashem. Let's go sing to Hashem. Nariya l'tzur yeshenu. Let's sing to the rock who saves us. Those words were not from David HaMelech. Those words were from Adam HaRishon, Chazal say. What's it talking about? Chazal say that all of the Brias, every creation sings Shira. There's no creation in the world that doesn't sing Shira. Every creation sings Shira to Hashem. But by Sheishis Yimei Bereshis, they couldn't sing Shira. They couldn't sing Shira until Adam HaRishon came. And Adam HaRishon said, L'chu neranan al Hashem. Let's go sing to the Rebbeinu Shalom. When Adam HaRishon said, L'chu neranan al Hashem, then the Brias were able to say Shira. Why is that? What does it mean? Why did it take Adam HaRishon to get the Brias to sing Shira? My understanding of that medrash is very similar to what I just said. I remember going to the Museum of Natural History with my children and telling my children, the Museum of Natural History is the citadel of Kfira in Manhattan. Every room that you go into is Molei Kfir. Because everywhere in the museum, they're saying, look how this animal evolved. Look what evolution did over here. Look what science did over here. Look at Big Bang over here. Look at the world being umpteen billion zillion years old over here. The building is full of kfir. It's full of apicursus. But, I told them, the Museum of Natural History is actually the biggest proof to the existence of the Rebbeinu Shalom anywhere. If you go through the Museum of Natural History and you ignore the stupidity that these very, very, very highly intelligent, stupid people wrote all over the exhibits, you see the Yad Hashem everywhere. They have a whole exhibit. There's a whole exhibit that is there to answer one fundamental question. We all know that heat rises and cold sinks. Now, when you take the rule that heat rises and cold sinks, so then, when it's cold outside and bodies of water freeze, what should happen is they should freeze from the bottom up. Because the coldest water should sink to the bottom, it should freeze at the bottom, and the ice should eventually build itself up to the top. Not the way it works. The water freezes from the top down. The top water is the coldest. That's what freezes. underneath stays warm. If it wouldn't be that way, all life on Earth would cease to exist. Because if the oceans and the rivers, and everything, if they would freeze from the bottom, then the life at the bottom of the ocean would die out, and then the planet would die out. So instead, it freezes at the top. It's very, very useful. Very useful that it works that way. Otherwise, it'd be in big trouble. And if you go to the Museum of Natural History and you read this whole exhibit, they'll tell you what a luck shot it is. It's such a luck shot that it just happens to be that water is lightest at 32 degrees. The lightest water is at 32 degrees. And they have a whole explanation of why it is that way. Very nice. Imagine if it would turned out that way. Right? So it's not because it's like telling somebody, it's like bringing somebody to the Freedom Tower and telling him, yep, there's an elevator that goes up to the top. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. We don't know how that elevator got there. And we don't know why the elevator goes up instead of going down. The elevator could have gone down. And then we would have no way to get up to the 110th floor. But fortunately for us, it just so happens that an elevator grew here, and we have a way to get up to the 110th floor. Now the architects had nothing to do with it. The engineers had nothing to do with it. The building people nothing to do with it. It just fell out that way. Right? It defies belief that somebody can even think this way. Right? But yet that's what it is. So the Bria, you go to the zoo, and the zoo will tell you all of the amazing things about the lion. The zoo will tell you all of the amazing things about this fish that lives in the bottom of the ocean and has incredible night vision because it has to see in the dark and how it could sense its food. But the zoo will also tell you that it happened by accident. There's no Shira. There's no Shira in the zoo. There's no Shira in the Museum of Natural History because it's not focused on the Rabbanu Shalom. They're not singing Shiris v'Sishbachis to the Rabbanu Shalom. They're singing Shiris v'Sishbachis to Darwin. They're singing Shiris v'Sishbachis to accidents, to themselves. They're not singing Shiris v'Sishbachis to the Rabbanu Shalom. The Bria, during Sheshis Yemei Bereshis, each Bria could have sang Shira to itself. The lion would have said, "Look at me, how great I am! I'm the king of the jungle." You know, the ant would have sang Shira, "Look what a hard worker I am." You know, but they wouldn't have sang Shira to the Rabbanu Shalom. It took Adam Arishan. Adam Arishan had to come, and Adam Arishan had to say, "L'chu niranenu l'Hashem, nariyo l'yitzur yishenu." Sing Shira. He had to focus the Shira, that it should go to the Rabbanu Shalom. It's interesting also that the pasuk says over there, "Nekadma panav b'soida." You want to sing Shira to the Rabbanu Shalom, the first thing that you have to do is you have to have soida. You have to have a karas hatoiv. The first thing that you have to do, you want to sing Shira to the Rabbanu Shalom, is you have to have a karas hatoiv to the Rabbanu Shalom. You have to be willing to look, and you have to be willing to recognize, to acknowledge, and to admit, like hoidah. You have to admit, you have to be moida. You have to admit to the Rabbanu Shalom that everything that you have is from him. So it took Adam Arishan to say Shira. Now, Tosfos in Sanhedrin says another interesting thing about Shira. Tosfos in Sanhedrin says that the Malachim sing Shira during the 6 days of the week. On Shabbos, they came to the Rabbanu Shalom and they said, "What do we do? We can't sing Shira." So I don't know exactly what this means, but the Tosfos brings down a pasuk in Yeshaya, talks about the Malachim. It says, "Sheish knafayim le'echad." Each one has 6 wings. The chol knaf, every wing is a shira. Every wing sings a shira. They only have 6 wings. So the 6 wings correspond to the 6 days of the week. On Shabbos, they said, "We're out of wings. We can't sing shira on Shabbos. What do we do?" So the Rabbanu Shalom said, "Yesh li oid knaf echad." I have one more wing. I have one more wing downstairs, not in Shemayim. And that's Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael sings Shira on Shabbos. And that's why it says, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. Klal Yisrael, B'nai Adam, sing Shira on Shabbos, while the Malachim can only sing Shira during the week. Again, what does it mean? I think again, the Malachim sing Shira during the week. Adam, man, could sing Shira on Shabbos. During the week is Hester. During the week, everything is hidden. During the week, I always said, during the week, we live in a false world. During the week, we live and we think we do everything. During the week, we could fool ourselves into thinking, Koichi Vaitzim Yadi. We go out to work, we go out to earn a living. So we go out to work for our parnasa. We're busy, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, and we're all taken up, and we're trying to squeeze out time for Avodas Hashem. Shabbos, we go back to the real world. What do you mean? Shabbos, we don't do anything. You know why? Because all week long you don't do anything. All week long you're fooling yourself. All week long you think you do. On Shabbos, the Rebbeinu Shalom tells you, now's the real world. On Shabbos, you don't do anything. Now you can sing Shira. During the 6 days, man, it's hard for man to sing Shira. During the 6 weeks. During the 6 days of the week. Because during the 6 days of the week, a man is living in Hester Panim. A man is living in this false world where he's tempted to think that he's in control and he knows what he's doing and he's working for his own means and his own ends. On Shabbos, man can sing Shira. And not only that, we say in davening, Uvayayim Ashvi b'Shabech v'Omer Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos. Zeh Shir Shevach Shal Yom Ashvi. Shabbos sings Shira. Lefichach Yifaru v'Yivarku L'Kel Kol Yitzurav. Lefikach, therefore, because Shabbos sings Shira, Shabbos sings Shira. Because Shabbos sings Shira, we could sing Shira. Shabbos allows us to sing Shira. The gift of Shabbos, when that Mesech HaMavdil, when the curtain that separates us from the truth is taken away, and our eyes are opened, and we realize what this world is all about, that's when we could sing Shira. So again, what is Shira? Shira is revealing the Kvod Shamayim that could remain hidden. It could remain hidden in the Bria. It could remain hidden in the things that happen to us every minute and every day of our life. We could sing Shira on every breath that we take. We look at somebody who has lung cancer, right? We look at a Morty Brillo, which is somebody. What did somebody say by the? This was such a good line. I think it was about a Levaya. Somebody said it. Such a potent line. He was going with his oxygen tank. You know, the last year, he was going with oxygen constantly. So somebody said to him by the chasana, by his son's chasana, somebody told him, maybe one day they'll make a wireless one. So Morty looked at him and said, what do you mean? God already did. It's called your lungs. Right? He's got a tank and a pump and lines going into his nose. All right, I'll make a wireless one. God already made a wireless one. All of you walk around with 2 lungs. You walk around with the wireless one. Right? We could sing Shira just on our lungs. We could sing Shira every time we take a breath. We could sing Shira. Look at the nace. Look at the nace. I take a breath and the air goes in and the pollutants are filtered out and the oxygen is taken and goes into our bloodstream and the carbon dioxide is taken out of our bloodstream and then we exhale and it goes out. It's a nisim when it flies. That's one thing, the respiratory system. And it's just a basic oversimplified understanding of the respiratory system. And how about the circulatory system? So every heartbeat we could sing Shira. Every time our heart beats, we can sing Shira. Every time we look, we see, we can sing Shira. Every time we hear, we can sing Shira. Or we could go through life with closed eyes and nobody sees Kvod Shamayim. So there's no Shira. So Shira is to reveal the Yad Hashem, to reveal the Siyata D'Shmaya, and to sing it out. That's Shira. Why did Shira have to come through David HaMelech? Why David? And this is fascinating. Fascinating. Why David? The pasuk says, Matzasi David Avdi. The Rosh Hashanah says, I found David, my Eved. Asks the Medrash, Heichon Matzasiv. Where'd you find him? Answer the Medrash, Pistaim. I found him in Staim. So the Rosh Hashanah says, Matzasi David Avdi, I found David. Says the Medrash, where'd you find him in Staim? Staim? You found David HaMelech in Staim? The simple answer is that yes, the Rebbeinu Shalom found David HaMelech in Staim. How? Where does David HaMelech come from? Rus. Where does Rus come from? Ammon and Moav. Where did Ammon and Moav come from? Light. Where was Light? In Staim. So I went to Staim to destroy Staim. I found Light. I took Light out of Staim, put him into a cave. He was Mizana with his daughters. From that I got Ammon and Moav. From there I got Rus. And that's where I found David HaMelech. So where did I find David HaMelech in Staim? Is this a nice thing to say about David HaMelech? This is what we want to say? I found him in Staim? So that's one thing we have to understand about David HaMelech. Next. David HaMelech, the Yalkut Shemaini says, not the Yalkut Shemaini. Maybe it is Yalkut Shemaini. Yeah, it is Yalkut Shemaini. Yalkut Shemaini says, Adam Arishan, the Rebbeinu Shalom showed Adam Arishan all of the neshamas that were coming in the future. He saw the neshama of David HaMelech. The Rebbeinu Shalom told him this neshama only has 3 hours to live. Asked Adam Arishan, is there such a thing as a gift in Shemayim? The Rebbeinu Shalom said yes. So he said, okay, I want to give him 70 years of my life. He should live 70 years, and then I want to give him 2 more presents. I want to give him Malucha, and I want to give him Shira. Those are 2 gifts that I want to give him. And you should have nachas from him. He should sing to you, and he should be the melech. Says that they wrote a shtar, and the shtar was signed by Adam Arishan, and the 2 Eidim on the shtar were the Rebbeinu Shalom and Metatron.
I have a question now. Was Moshe Rabbeinu Shalom, I mean, was Hashem Shalom Moshe Rabbeinu all the neshamas that come?
Adam Arishan, you mean?
What?
Adam
I
Arishan.
mean, Adam Rishon, right? All the neshamas that were coming there? Like, why was
So I don't know, because the lashon of the Medrash actually is he showed him Darshav. He showed him the leaders of every generation. So I don't know if he actually showed him every one, but it's funny because in that case, if David HaMelech at that point in time was only destined to live 3 hours, how was he a leader? So I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But he gave him 70 years, he gave him Malucha, he gave him Shira.
Who were the 2 Edom? Hashem and?
Metatron.
What's that?
Good question. The Satan, the Yitzhahara.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Complex figure, Metatron. Those are the Eidim on the shtar. What's the connection here? Adam Arishan, David HaMelech. Adam Arishan is the one that gave him Malchus and Shira. What's going on here? When Shmuel HaNavi was sent to be Mamlech David HaMelech, the Rebbeinu Shalom told him, go to Yishai's house, look at Yishai's children, and you're going to anoint the king from Yishai's children. Yishai had 8 children. The oldest one was Eliyav, who was one of the Gdolei Adar. Yishai brought him Eliyav.
It's a double hadar because they treated David HaMelech the way.
Oh,
How's double
Let's
hadar do
see.
that?
they brought him Eliyav? No. They went down the list. No, nobody. Shmuel HaNavi said, there's got to be somebody else. Yishai said, yeah. He says, there is somebody else. Oid Shar HaKatan. There's still, the Katan is left over. He's out shepherding the sheep. You know how old this Katan was? 27. So the Katan, he's shepherding the sheep. Shmuel HaNavi said, bring him. Brought him. And the Rebbeinu Shalom said, yep, that's him. Yishai didn't have a dream You understand? Shmuel HaNavi told Yishai, I'm here because the Rebbe told me I got to be mamlich one of your kids. I don't know which. Round them up. He didn't even dream to bring David. When Shmuel HaNavi went through the 7 and didn't find anybody, Yishai didn't say, I got one more. Yishai said, oh well, didn't work. Shmuel said, it's got to be somebody else. Oh yeah, actually, there is one left. What's going on? Hi, we're switching positions over here. I'm in the middle of saying shir.
Okay, good. I just wanted to know if we're on tomorrow.
What's happening, man? How much? When David HaMelech went out by Goliath, Eliav verbally abused him. He said, oh, you're here to watch the war. That's what you're here for. I know Roya Levavcha. I know your bad heart. You came out here because you left the sheep and you didn't care about them and you came here to well, I'm busy tonight. You came here to watch, you wanted to watch a war. Tahuva. You came here to watch a war. That's what you're here for. And this was the one that the Rebbe Shalom said, he's the Melech. So you understand? But his lineage was their lineage. It's his brothers, his family.
So who,
Eliav is his brother.
Yeah, well, they thought
Later on, Achitophel went and questioned his lineage. David questioned his lineage.
But at this point, who was very anointed after that? Who was very anointed before Goliath?
Before Goliath, he was very
Wasn't
anointed.
there a
Yeah,
question
it's right
of who
before.
his father was?
There's all sorts of questions, but that's not the pashtus of the
Yeah,
puzzle.
but I forgot the greatest God of Hadar.
That's why he was
But
out,
Moshe
he was
Feinstein is
rejected, he was
kind
out
of-
with the sheep.
Yeah, but Moshe Feinstein is saying he's going to be the king. Everyone's going to say what Moshe Feinstein doesn't know what he's talking about when you feel him like this.
So why would
So
he
so
take him to
so what
Sunset?
is it?
That's
What
it.
is it? How do we understand it? Okay. So the first thing I have to say is there's many levels, there's many layers here. But on one level, this is what I'd like to say. First of all, we have to remember something. When we started Chumash, I spoke at Parshas Bereshis, and I spoke about the chait of eating from the Eitz Hadas. What was the chait of eating from the Eitz Hadas? The Nachash told Adam HaRishon, if you eat from the Eitz Hadas, the Rebbe Shalom doesn't want you to eat from the Eitz Hadas. You know why? He told the Chava, Ki biyoyim acholcha, the day that you'll eat from the Eitz Hadas, you'll be like the Rebbeinu Shalom, Yoidei Tovara. Once you eat from the Eitz Hadas, you'll be like the Rebbeinu Shalom. You'll know good and bad. So what does that mean? Adam HaRishon, you don't know good and bad now, but when you eat from the Eitz Hadas, you'll know good and bad. So I always said, yeah. Before we ate from the Eitz Hadas, we weren't Yoidei Tovara. Before we ate from the Eitz Hadas, we didn't have our own personal agendas. Before we ate from the Eitz Hadas, we didn't say we know better. Before we ate from the Eitz Hadas, we didn't question what the Rebbeinu Shalom did. We didn't say, I know better. Really, it should be like this. Really, it should be like that. This is no good. This is good. Whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom did was good, and whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom told us to do, we do, and whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom told us not to, we don't do. We ate from the Eitz Hadas. Now we know. Now we have opinions. Now we have a Yetzirah. Now we have an agenda. Now we go to the Rebbeinu Shalom, we say, well, not so fast. We think better. We think it would be better this way. We think it would be better that way. Rebbeinu Shalom, why are you doing this to me? Rebbeinu Shalom, why did you make this happen? Rebbeinu Shalom, why did you tell me I'm not allowed to do this? I want to do that. How did you become Yodei Tovara? Because you ate from the Eitz Hadas. That's why you became Yodei Tovara. After you ate from the Eitz Hadas, it's much harder to sing Shira. You don't see the Yad Hashem the way you did before. Do we see the Yad Hashem in everything? Or do sometimes we sit back and we say we don't understand? or sometimes we kvetch, and sometimes we say we don't like it. So suddenly it's much harder to sing Shira. When I don't know precisely when Adam Arishan said L'chun Eranan al Hashem l'real l'siyushenu. I was trying to find, was that before he ate from the Eitz Hadas, or was it after he ate from the Eitz Hadas? And I'm not sure. Hopefully by next week I'll know. But I'm not sure if it was before or after. But one thing for sure, Adam Arishan's power to sing Shira was curtailed after he ate from the Eitz Hadas. Chazal say, Oz Yashir, then Klal Yisrael sang Shira. Chazal say that the whole time Klal Yisrael was in Mitzrayim, there was no Shira. The whole time Klal Yisrael was in Mitzrayim, nobody was being Megala to Kvod Shamayim, because Klal Yisrael was in Golus. They were beaten down by the Mitzrim. Who's saying Shiras V'Sishpachis to the Rebbeinu Shalom? Nobody. When the Rebbeinu Shalom made Nisim and Neflois and took Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, B'yod Chazaka, U'Bezrayin Netuya, and made Kriyas Yamsuf, Oz Yashir Moshe. Then Klal Yisrael was able to sing Shira and to show the Kvod Shamayim. But from the time Adam Arishan ate from the Eitz Hadas, all the way up until Kriyas Yamsuf, Shira was curtailed. Adam Arishan saw this. So Adam Arishan said to the Rebbeinu Shalom, I owe you one. I ate from the Eitz Hadas, and now I can't sing Shira. I'm going to give you David HaMelech. David HaMelech is going to sing Shira. Why David? Because Matzasi is David Avdi. Where? Bistoim. You know what it takes to sing Shira? What it takes to sing Shira, you have a leader. You have, let's say, President Trump. Anybody, any leader. He could surround himself with yes men, right? Hillary Clinton, right? You read about what happened in Hillary Clinton's campaign. Everybody was afraid to tell her no. Everybody was afraid to tell her you're losing. Everybody was afraid to tell her, what you're doing isn't working. You got to change it. So she lived in an ivory tower. You could surround yourself by yes men. Is that Shira? If the king surrounds himself with sycophants, and the sycophants sit there and sing his praises while the country is falling apart, is that Shira? That's not Shira. That's lies. What does it take for Shira? For somebody who has no contrary opinion, somebody who has no Yetzer Hara, somebody who has no taiva, for that person to come to the Rebbeinu Shalom and sing Shira, you know what that's like? That's like the Tzvar Shemayim. That's like the Malachim singing Shira. Big deal! The Malachim sing Shira. They don't know anything else. They don't have Yetzer Hara. They don't have any temptation. They don't have any Bechira. Shabbos, we got to sing Shira. That the Rebbeinu Shalom values. David HaMelech, Matzasi as David Avdi, Heichan Bistoim. David HaMelech looked like a Ritzeach. It says that the brothers, Yishai and his brothers, they looked at David HaMelech and they saw the furthest thing from a Melech Yisrael. They saw somebody who had the tears to Ritzicha. They saw in him a passionate fellow who they were afraid he could be a Ritzeach. They saw in him somebody who had the potential for unbridled lust. So they saw in him somebody who could potentially become beholden to the Yetzer Hara. This is a Melech? This is the guy who's going to be the epitome of the nation? Yeah. You know why? Because he's a Melech. Before you could be a Melech on the nation, you have to be a Melech on yourself. Did you ever see him do anything wrong? Did he kill anybody? You're telling me you're afraid he's a Ritzech. Did he kill anybody? You're telling me he's passions, lust. Is he going around having affairs? No. So what are you telling me? He has the potential for it, but he's got it locked down under control. That's the one who could sing Shira. The one who could come and the one who could look and who could say, I could see the Kaichi Vaitzim Yadi and everything. I could fall under the spell of the Yetzer Hara. I could be a Ritzeach. But I have such control that I could see the Yad Hashem in everything. And therefore I will never be a Ritzeach. And the potential for Ritzicha that I have in me, I'm going to use only for the Milchamas of Klal Yisrael. I'm going to use it the way the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me to use it. That's Shira. I'm going to take those netiyas that I have, I'm going to use them only for the Rebbeinu Shalom. So I'm going to be Megala, I'm going to reveal the Ruchnius in everything. That's Shira. That's the one who could sing Shira. And the reason why Adam HaRishon was the one who had to give rise to David HaMelech is because that was Adam HaRishon's payback. That was Adam HaRishon's takana. That's how he was misakin, what he did. I went ahead and I brought chayshach into the world. I brought darkness into the world. I covered up the kvod shemayim in the world. I made people yodei toivara. I made a mesach hamavdil. I made a curtain that people can't see through. I'm going to bring David HaMelech. David HaMelech is going to write a Sefer Tehillim. He's going to write Shira. He's going to show me in the pages of Tehillim. He's going to show me how to find Shira in tragedy. The very second kapitel of Tehillim is David HaMelech. Second? No. Third. The third kapitel of Tehillim. Mizmor LeDavid. A song of David HaMelech. Bevorchai mipnei Avshalom b'nai. While he was running away from Avshalom. His son is rebelling against him. He's singing Shira. That's Shira. I'm going to show the Kvod Shemayim. I'm going to show the Yad Hashem in a tragedy. That's Shira. That took David HaMelech. So in the pages of Tehillim, we find Shira in happy occasions. We find Shira in tragedy. We find Shira in what I'm going to call depression. Not that he was depressed, but in depressing circumstances. We find Shira in challenge. We find Shira in tshuva. We find Shira, David HaMelech was able to uncover, to be Megala the Kvod Shemayim under every single circumstance of life. And that's why he's the Ne'im Zmiris Yisrael. And that's why he had to give us Sefer Tehillim. And that's what Sefer Tehillim is about. What Sefer Tehillim is about is our ability to connect in every situation that we find ourselves in, whatever it is, to see the Kvod Shemayim. And the last point that I would make is, Oid Sha'ar HaKatan. There's still the Katan. And the Katan was 27 years old. I want to learn Pshat, that one of the gifts that David HaMelech had, and I think we'll see it time and time again in Tehillim, is that people would have called him a simpleton. What do I mean by a simpleton? I'll tell you what I mean. So one of my favorite Gemaras about David HaMelech, the Gemara in Brachas says that David HaMelech in the morning, the Chachmei Yisrael, the wise men of Klal Yisrael, would come into David HaMelech, and they would tell him, David HaMelech, we have a problem. What? Amcha Yisrael tzrichin parnasa. Klal Yisrael needs parnasa. There's poor people. David HaMelech said, ooh, okay. Leichu misparnas in zemizeh. They should go do business with each other. Go do business with each other. They'll have money. Now I want you to imagine this. What's his name? Larry Kudlow, chief economic advisor to President Trump. He's been working on economics his entire life. Okay? He's a world-renowned economist. Imagine he goes into the Oval Office and he says, President Trump, we have a problem. What's the problem? Well, so and so many percent of this demographic is living under the poverty line. So and so much percentage of this demographic is living barely above the poverty line. We have these people down south that are this. What do we do? Answers President Trump. I think they should get jobs. Oh, that's sage advice. Yeah, I wouldn't think of that. So what does that mean? The Chachmei Yisrael come in. They ask David HaMelech what to do. David HaMelech says, Leichem is partisan. Does that mean that? What kind of answer is that? So they told David HaMelech, Not a good answer. You know why it's not a good answer? They gave him a very esoteric explanation of why it's not a good answer. They told him, Ein hakoimitz masbia es ha'ari. A handful of food can't satisfy a lion. Ve'ein habor mismalei mechuli yasai. And when you dig a pit and you take the earth out of the pit, that earth can't fill the pit back up. You have to bring in earth from the outside. So David said, oh, okay, all right. So it's not going to work? No? All right. L'chu pishtu yidechem b'gdud. Go start a war. War is good for the economy. L'chu pishtu yidechem b'gdud. Go start a war. But if you're going to start a war, go to the Sanhedrin, because to fight a war you have to have rishus from the Sanhedrin. So go to the Sanhedrin, get rishus from the Sanhedrin. Go to Achitophel, because Achitophel is a strategist. So get strategy from Achitophel, and I'll daven for you, and go fight a war. What kind of conversation is this? What does this all mean? So the way I always understood it was like this. They came to David HaMelech and they said people need parnasa. David HaMelech said, the Rebbeinu Shalom gives parnasa. You need parnasa, do business. Now you're not coming to me and telling me people need parnasa when they're not doing business, right? Because that would be stupid. So obviously you're telling me that they do have businesses, but they're not making money. So I'll give you an eitzah. My eitzah is, Leichu misparnas zemizeh. If they're doing business with Goyim, they should do business with Eden. Because if Ruvain does business with a Goy, so then if he has chusim, he'll make money. If he doesn't have chusim, he won't make money. But if Ruvain does business with Shimon, then even if Ruvain doesn't have chusim, if Shimon has chusim, Ruvain will make money. So he gave them an eitzah. Make ishtadlus, do ishtadlus, but do your ishtadlus with a fellow Yid. Maybe you'll make money. The Chachmei Yisrael, the wise men of Yisrael, looked at him and said, this is the sage advice of a king. Ain't a bar mismalim v'chiyasa, ain't a kamis v'sbiyasari. You don't understand economic theory. It's much more complicated than that. There's economic theory. David HaMelech said, oh, you're worried about economic theory. So that means you're not interested in the Rebbeinu Shalom. You're not interested in Hishtadlus and Emunah and B'tachin and let the Rebbeinu Shalom take care of you. You're busy with economic theory. You're busy with Eina Karbis V'Sbiyasari and Eina Bar B'Smalim B'Chol. In that case, you only have one choice. L'chu pishtu yidechem b'gdud. Go start a war. Have a lot. A war is a lot of ishtadlus. You might get killed in war, right? But that's what you believe in. But you should know, if you're going to go make a war, you better go to the Sanhedrin. You better get rishos from the Sanhedrin. You better go to Achitophel. You better have a good strategist. And you're going to need all the tefillas you can get, because without it, you guys are all going to die. So, if you look at the Chachmei Yisrael, who do they think is smart and who do they think is stupid? They think they're the smart ones, and they think David HaMelech is a simpleton. The same thing by Goliath. What happened by Goliath? What happened by Goliath? Goliath is standing there, he's being Mecharif and Begadif, he's cursing the Rebbeinu Shalom, he's cursing Klal Yisrael, and all the smart men, all the warriors, all the strategists, they're all standing there not doing anything.
They're scared.
Right? David HaMelech came, and David said, what's going on? This guy's cursing, you know he's doing anything? Give me a sword, I'll kill him. Simple. They're looking at him. This guy's crazy. He's a lunatic. You're a lunatic. You gonna fight him? He's like, yeah, this is simple. He's cursing the Rebbeinu Shalom. Give me a sword, I'll kill him. David HaMelech was simple. Not simple that he was dumb. Simple that he was smarter than anybody else. My favorite pasuk in Kehelis. I always mix up which way it is. As Elikim asa as Adam Yashar. The Rebbeinu Shalom made a person straight. It's simple. V'heim bikshu cheshbonos rabim. And they make all sorts of cheshbonos. Everything's simple. Do what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. The Rebbeinu Shalom will take care of you. Simple. No, but we complicate it, and we convolute it, and we make it all complicated, but we don't know this, and we don't know that, and what about this, and what about that? David HaMelech was simple. There were no cheshbonos rabim. Somebody's cursing God, you got to kill him. You need parnasa, you go make a shtadlus. Daven, Rosh take care of you. That's in Tehillim. Tehillim is simple. Everything is from the Rebbeinu Shalom. I depend on everything for the Ribbono Shel Olam. Everything I have, I thank the Ribbono Shel Olam for. Everything I need, I ask the Ribbono Shel Olam for. It's all simple. Oid Shara Katan. He's a simple guy. He's out shepherding the sheep. The simple guy was the Melech, not the complicated ones. Meretz Hashem, this is what we'll see in Sefer Tehillim. Meretz Hashem, next week we'll start with the first kapitel. Thank you.